Good morning and welcome to my weekly review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Thank you for tuning in and watching here. This is the Nasdaq in 2017, and this is a full year of the run where the Nasdaq was up 29%, but it pulled back to its 50 simple moving average several times during the year and even stayed there for a few sessions. But this is a year that was really easy to hold stocks. And then, like I said, the index was up 29%. It was a really good year. Made a lot of money this year. But a pullback to the 50 was normal. And I know what you're thinking. Well, the Fed had the interest rates artificially low, and that's all true. But I just want to point out that a trip to the 50 is normal and an uptrend. And so now I'm going to go to today's date, or the last session, which was yesterday. August 4th, and you can see that this year started off with a bang and then a pullback to the 50, and then is run up from March 13th, I believe it was 10,982 to July 19th, 14,446. That's a heck of a run, folks. And so a little profit taking and a pullback to the 50 would be absolutely normal, even if it traded below the 50 for a short time would be totally normal. I just wanted to show you that this 50 is rising. It's going up like 25 points a day. So even if it goes sideways, this 50 is going to catch up. And I anticipate that the index will trade down. It's only 1.7% above the 50 right now. But there were some things that happened on Friday that lead me to believe that there's going to be some more selling. And this is the QQQs, which is, Microsoft, Apple, the big seven, right? But it was rejected at the 10, along with the SPY. It was rejected as well at the 10 EMA, and then shaking my head. The semiconductor rejected at the 10, and then you're looking at some big stocks like Apple, just slicing its 50 on heavy volume. This is not a good sign, for an immediate. We're in an uptrend, but we're having a pullback within the uptrend, and this correction is coinciding with seasonal weakness in August and September. So that's why I anticipate some more weakness ahead. But I don't want to predict. We're just going to take it one day at a time. And there's Microsoft selling off. I'm going to go and I'm going to start with the bad stuff first and then get to the good, because when the index sells off, you can expect your growth stocks to sell off 2 or 3 times the index. And the Nasdaq was down nearly 3% last week. So if your growth stock was down 5 to 10%, that's pretty normal. They're going to outperform during this uptrend, and they're going to underperform, when it corrects. And you can see that this big, massive run. I mean, if you bought stocks back in here, I mean, you'd probably have a big cushion and can ride this out. But if you made a recent purchase, the last buy is usually the first sells. So anyway, I'm going to take a look at some of the train wrecks here. I'm going to start with the cybersecurity area. Fortinet, really surprised. This is a well-managed company, and they missed earnings, and which is a surprise. And it wouldn't surprise me if some big companies, are changing their line items from cybersecurity to machine learning. That would not surprise me, because for this company to miss, that was a bad miss, and you could see the sell-off there. That is a train wreck. Sorry for the longs there. Palo Alto Networks, it sold off 8%, in sympathy with Fortinet news. Zscaler didn't get hit quite as bad. It held its 50 barely. And same with CrowdStrike, just not as bad, but the software names and the semiconductor names have been up so much that's where the profits are, and we're seeing profit taking so far here in August. This is Monday. I mean, this thing went from 108 to 190, and so now it pulls back to 160. Some selling there, and it's below its 50. So look out below. DigitalOcean, this is one where the bigger stocks are better armed to win this AI arms race. And this company caters to, some of the medium or smaller companies. And their earnings report was not good. And this thing sold off with massive volume. That's a 25% haircut. Thank you very much. SDGR, another one, just sold off with earnings. But, it went from 17 to 59, so it pulls back to 40, So if you're long there and you're holding through that, good luck to you. I just do not like stocks below the 50. Square was another one that reported, got slammed. It was setting up pretty decently, but adios muchachos. And this is Expedia, another one, just got hit. Some of the semiconductor names, I'm going through software, finance, semiconductors, Allegro got hit. Once again, this thing's gone from 28 to 53, now pulls back to 42. Just some profit taking is what my best guesstimates is with this recent sell-off. Rambus, another one, it's gone from 24 to 68, now pulls back to 53. Their earnings report was not that great either. HubSpot, another one, a software name. Software in semiconductors, that's where the profits are, and that's what's selling off or got hit last week. Each week's different, but this one went from 245 up to 5 something, and finally pulled back here a little bit after earnings. This one was up to 580. Yeah, so pulled back to 480. Nice little haircut for HubSpot. I could do this all day. There's a lot of train wrecks out there, and I don't want to depress you or demoralize you, because there are pockets of strength, and I'm going to look at relative strength in a minute here. This is Generac, which sold off. Spotify sold off. Crocs sold off after earnings. TMDX, pretty strong report, and it sold off too. There's profits to be had here. This stock went from 53 to 99, so pulls back to 80. So what? I mean, you got to expect profits to be taken. Okay, so if you're buying into earnings, there's a lot of risk there. You've got to manage the risk around these earnings reports. You can see what happens. And the big one last week was TGTX. This thing got a 50% haircut on Monday. Thank you very much. So I know it's a biotech, and biotech's, it's penthouse or outhouse, but that one was in the outhouse. You just got to avoid stuff like that. Once again, below the 50, right? And now it's below the 200. That's a train wreck. Anyway, I want to look at stocks with relative strength. This is a weekly review. Like I said, the Nasdaq was down nearly 3% last week, and this is a stock that was up, 1%, showing relative strength. And you can see the power of this move here. The high tight flag pattern. This is my number one stock at mcstockcharts.com. You can see the poll here. I go through this. You guys are probably tired of this, but and then the flag, 270 pivot on the flag, and now it's up to 338. I know what you're thinking. Wow, there's profit taking to be had. You just said that, and they're not taking profits here. Yeah, well, they report earnings Tuesday, so beware. I am holding this stock in earnings, and I'm a little nervous about it, so I reduced my size, to be a little responsible. We have to be responsible at some point. There's a lot of stocks. This is a data center stock. The data center, pointed out the video from Lisa Su that she reported last week that from Advanced Micro Devices CEO Lisa Su said that there's a rebound in PCs, and she expects strong data center growth in the second half of 2023. And this is Vertiv, which is a power equipment for those data centers. And this one had a strong earnings report, and it was up 37% last week. Thank you very much. I would say that is relative strength. Some other stocks that are, just retail stocks. This was a Wayfair, nice earnings report, nice response to their earnings. And it was up, nearly 14% last week. That's showing relative strength. This is RH. It's a retail home furnishings like Wayfair, and you can see this nice consolidation here, and it's pulling out of it. It was up 1.5% last week. So this one's showing relative strength as well. Elf is one of our favorite retailers at MC Stock Charts. This one was up, 10% last week. So I would say that's showing relative strength. Has not based in a long time, and just wants higher prices. So congrats to the longs there with the Elf. Some of the home builders, Builder is one that reported, and they had a kind of a muted response originally, but then it started to gain traction late in the week and was up 4% for the week. So we'll take that. DHI with the Nasdaq down 3%. This was down 1.5%. Home builder still, holding up strong above the 21 there. The HVAC stocks doing great. This is a Fix Comfort Systems USA. It was up more than 2% last week, and then just in a steady uptrend right here. This is a trend trader's dream right there. Just keep grinding higher. Nobody even talks about this stock, so keep it to yourself. Another one in that same group, Modine Manufacturing. This is a building, HVAC, heating, air conditioning. And this one was up 23% last week. Nice response to earnings. So I know what you're thinking. Like you just said, be careful in the earnings. You're not going to get that gain unless you're holding, right? Which is true. But like I said, you got to manage risk because you don't want to get blown up like the people in TGTX and Fortinet and all those ones that I showed you at the top of this show here. AMD reported last week, semiconductor. I said there was profit taking in semiconductors, and you could see this one's just consolidating in a base, but it was up 2.5% last week. So good for AMD and Lisa Su. Extreme Networks, another one that's just grinding higher out of this consolidation. It was up 11% last week, and just showing strength. They had a good response to their earnings report as well. A couple of random ones. LegalZoom, internet content stock. I picked this one up when I was looking at Meta in that group, internet content, but this thing's showing signs of life coming out of a stage 1 base. There was up 4% last week, so that's showing relative strength. And then AppLovin, this one was up. It was up, while the Nasdaq was down 3%. So that one's showing relative strength as well. I got to get into some of the oil and gas stocks because they are showing strength, and some of them are set up in bases still. This is Tidewater, up 3.5% last week. Weatherford is another one. These ones just keep making new 52-week highs. Weatherford at an all-time high. And some stocks that I like setting up in bases here for next week or the week after here. The oil and gas stocks are strong. This is Permian Resources. You can see it's consolidating. Yeah, it goes sideways a lot, but has the ability to move, as we've seen. And also CRC is another one that I like in this space. Just coming out of consolidation there, as you can see on the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily, and you can see that's a pretty good size move there as well. XPro. Yeah, I hate to say this, oil and gas stocks look good. I shouldn't hate to say it. I mean, we'd take it where we can get it, right? This was up 3.7% last week while the indexes were selling off. It's been up, 5-6 weeks in a row. So definitely pay attention to stuff like that. And got some other ones that are looking okay. This is TCOM, Trip.com. The booking stocks are pretty strong here. This is a Chinese ticket company, and you can see that it's been consolidating in a base here. So I kind of like that one. United Rentals, just going random here. This is consolidating as well, coming out of a consolidation. You can see it was up 4% last week. Nice cup with handle. That's a heck of a shakeout right there. That's going to shake most folks out. And looks good. The PRGS is another one. Progress, a software company setting up, and ONON, the shoe company, looks decent too. Holding up while the indexes were selling off last week. So that's what I'm looking for in relative strength. Anyway, that's it for this week. August is bringing us some volatility, but like I said, if you look at the Nasdaq, a trip to the 50 is not the worst thing that could happen to us. And if it gets there, we'll see what happens when it gets there. If it, we'll just take it one day at a time. How about that? And we never give up.